Hello, viewers, and welcome to Dark Sayings Live, Midnight Mystery Sessions. Now, you might be noticing it's not midnight, nor is it Saturday, but I spent the whole week pretty sick, and had some things going on over the last couple of days. Some really tough breathing issues regarding what I thought was an infection, but it was actually asthma-related. So we're a little bit on the mend now, doing a makeup show. So I want to welcome you to the makeup show for Midnight Mystery Sessions. I'm Pete, your humble master of mysteries and antiquary of the arcane. I want you to step into these dim hours where forgotten tales claw their way back to light. Here at Dark Sayings, we peel open the layers of conspiracies and paranormal events, extraterrestrial encounters, occult undercurrents, religious riddles, and historical shadows, always grounding the drama in facts while letting the stories pull you under. Tonight, as the clock rolls to around 11:17 p.m., we'll descend into 5 gripping enigmas that have echoed through time. A Venusian emissary in the halls of power, a Quranic city swallowed by sands, subterranean horrors from a mad inventor's mind, a Long Island base warping reality itself, and a Canadian valley haunted by headless ghosts. For the next 45 minutes, we will live these whispers together and then open the floor for your questions. So settle in, fire up the old live chat, and let the abyss stare back. Hit that subscribe button, ring the bell, and join us. And let's see where we go tonight, right? So thank you to our live chat moderator, Miss Tina Tomaszewski. Appreciate you being here tonight, Tina. Thank you for your contribution to this community. Still a little short of breath here and there, folks. I'm going to do my darndest to provide my dramatic flair as I do with the storytelling, as I like to believe that I do. And with that in mind, I hope you'll bear with me as I, just struggle just a little bit. Look, I want to bring your attention to something as well. Up in the pinned comment on the chat here, at least on YouTube, I have provided an invite to the Dark Sayings Discord. If you are, feeling a little froggy after the stream ends, we will spend a little bit of time chilling out in the voice chat over on the Dark Sayings Discord. So you can go ahead and click that invite link so that after we wrap up here, we can all go shoot the breeze over there and maybe talk about some of these topics we got into tonight, delve into some ideas for what we can do in the future. All right. So, there's a comment here I just noticed from Mage Medics Musings regarding their experience with pneumonia. This time last year, I was recovering from pneumonia. Mage, I had pneumonia like 2 Christmases ago. And it was like 8 days before I got treatment because for the first like 3 or 4, I thought that I had the flu. So for like the first 4 days, I thought I had the flu and I was still going to work. And it was like Christmas Eve and I was at work. And I was in bad shape. It was really rough. So the following day was Christmas. So, and I mean, we're still not getting treatment now because it's Christmas Day. I remember waking up and watching the kids open presents, and then I woke up like the following day. Like I slept through that entire day. Some wild fever dreams. Really thought I wasn't going to make it that time. So finally, after like the 8th day, depending on how things worked out, I ended up going to the urgent care. And when they did the x-rays, they found out that I was pneumonia in both lungs. So I'm really glad I got that addressed. And I'll tell you what, I've never been as sick in my entire life as I was that time I caught pneumonia. So this thing started with like some allergy issue. At least that's what I thought. I was having some allergies or maybe a head cold, but it just kept worse and worse. Like last night, I felt like I was breathing through a coffee straw. So, I'm glad I went and got it addressed because they definitely, they had the stuff to take care of it. Holy smokes, got a big old super chat coming in here. Well, that is something the heck else here. Holy smokes here. Maurice Span Gaming. First of all, Maurice, I ain't seen you in a hot minute, so it's great to see you back, man. That's fantastic. And Maurice, for $49.99, that is quite generous, my good man. Thank you very much. And I do appreciate that. And I'll tell you, like, the worst thing about it, I mean, look, I can deal with being sick. That's not the end of the world. But, to be quite frank, like yesterday was my birthday. And I don't usually make a fuss over it, but I thought maybe this year I have very little to look forward to in general. Like, I don't really do much besides work. So I wanted to have something to do. So I called a couple of my buddies. I was going to do some grilling. Then later on in the day, the wife and I were planning on going out to dinner. My mom was going to watch the kids, and I woke up so sick. It was like everything was done. Couldn't do it. Couldn't get it done. So I kind of wiped the whole weekend. And you know what? I want to be thankful. I'm not going to complain completely too much because I ended up with a 3-day weekend. But unfortunately, I got to get up and go to the DMV tomorrow. So, when it rains, it pours, folks. When it rains, it pours. But you're neither here nor there for my complaining. Guru Augie, thank you for the happy birthday wishes. And thank you, Maurice Span Gaming, again, for that generous super chat. It's very kind of you. I'm very appreciative. Thank you very much. I'm seeing a lot more birthday wishes. Yeah, being sick on your birthday sucks. Mr. MH, God bless you, Pete. May you always be in good health, sir. You are a champion. Well, thank you. I appreciate that. I just muddle through, man. I just muddle through like the rest of us. So listen, I normally do not go past 5 minutes on the opening spiel here, but we've done that already. So if we run a little late tonight, I'm not going to worry about it because we did, we're starting a little earlier than normal. Okay. So let's get into our topics. We got some interesting ones tonight. Hand curated some of these from topics I covered in the past over the many years of the channel. I was like, let me see if there's any updates on these specific subjects, anything that's occurred new in the news regarding these, and some that are just fun to talk about that I would not have minded revisiting. And I think I might do a little more of that, see if some of the subject matter I addressed in yesteryears is still pertinent today. I mean, a lot of these topics, they do hang around for quite a while. I mean, hell, we're still talking about Roswell, and it's been 70, 80 years at this point. So yeah, 60, probably 60 years. What was it? 47? Whoa, more than that. Woo! Okay. All right, let's roll along. Okay. Tonight's first topic, we're going to talk about the stranger of the Pentagon, Valiant Thor, a Venusian envoy, or a government fabrication. All right. I want you to imagine the hum of a silver craft slicing through Virginia skies in 1957. It lands silently in a farmer's field, its hatch hissing open to reveal a tall figure in a shimmering tunic. Valiant Thor, the self-proclaimed Venusian, steps out and demands an audience with the president. Was this diplomatic plea from the stars to avert nuclear doom or carefully scripted illusion? So let's walk those Pentagon corridors and feel the weight of his words. You're a sheriff's deputy in Alexandria, Virginia, flashlight trembling as you approach the glowing disc. Its surface cool under your fingers. Out steps Valiant Thor, the 6-foot-tall, olive-skinned, with piercing blue eyes and a calm voice that cuts through the night. He claims to hail from Venus, sent by a high council to warn Earth of self-destruction through atomic fire. No fear in his gaze, just quiet authority as he requests a meeting with Dwight D. Eisenhower. And hey, we all know he's got his hand in the alien pocket a little bit here and there too. So your radio crackles with a disbelief from headquarters. But there he stands, unblinking, as if the stars themselves dispatched him. Let's linger on that first encounter because Thor didn't come alone. His companions include a sister named Jill, emerging too, their presence radiating on an otherworldly poise. He spoke of advanced sciences that could heal humanity's wounds, technologies to end war and famine. Yet, as federal agents whisked him away, you wonder, is this benevolence or the opening act of something calculated? Now you're inside the Pentagon. The air is thick with cigar smoke and whispered consultations as Thor is granted quarters in the basement for 3 years. He meets Eisenhower multiple times, sharing blueprints for free energy devices and cures for diseases. Fact checks later chronicled in a book by an evangelist who claims to have met him. Thor's message is stark. Abandon nuclear arms or face cosmic consequences. You overhear aides debating his telepathic demonstrations where thoughts flow like unspoken commands. Shifting deeper into these classified sessions, Thor reveals Venus as a paradise of harmony. It's people living centuries without aging, sustained by crystal tech and universal laws. He warns of shadow governments manipulating Earth's fate, urging a global federation. Yet as treaties are drafted in hidden rooms, doubts creep in. Why no public proof? No verified Venus signals. Now, I want you to picture yourself as one of Thor's few trusted allies. An Air Force officer watching him levitate objects over a colleague's, he healed a colleague's wound with a touch. His explanations are rooted in vibrational frequencies beyond our grasp. He dines with Nixon, discussing ethics in a post-war world, always emphasizing humanity's potential for light over destruction. But skeptics in the room murmur about staged props, psychological ops from the Cold War playbook. And here's where the tension builds. Thor's departure in 1960 aboard his craft, Victory 1, leaves behind unfinished accords and a trail of declassified hints from FBI files. No photos surface, no Venus confirmed by telescopes, yet witnesses swear his humanity was too perfect, his warnings too prescient. Was he a bridge to the stars or a mirror for our fears? Now you're flipping through these faded documents now where Thor's philosophy lingers. Love is the ultimate force. Governments are illusions of control. His story inspires underground movements, blending UFO lore with spiritual quests. They're echoed in books and films that dramatize his Pentagon stay. Online archives pulse with alleged photos of his craft, grainy and inconsistent, drawing you back to that Virginia field. But the legacy twists. Some call him a benevolent architect of hybrid experiments to save his race. Others, a hoax peddled by contactees. But the facts remain. There was Eisenhower's documented UFO interest and the era's radar anomalies. And that kind of keeps the debate alive, a whisper that refuses to fade. Back in that basement, the door clicks shut on Thor's final words. Time is shorter than you think. Why no atomic disarmament followed? Could this Venusian tech have been suppressed, buried in black budgets? And if he returns, as promised, what form will the warning take? These questions, they hang like fog, inviting you to listen closer to the abyss. So yeah, interesting story there, folks. I always found the whole thing about the Frank Strange's involvement in the entire ordeal to be quite interesting, in any regard, because he was a devout Christian. I believe he was a minister. And in that regard, it is kind of coincidental that Val Valiant Thor also is a Christian, that the Venusians have Christianity. It just seems very anomalous to me. And it does give me pause when considering the entire story. Now, that's just my own personal opinion on the whole thing. But, I mean, you could see why it would raise some eyebrows for me. I think that aspect of Val Valiant Thor's Christianity specifically, now, look, I can understand. And personally, I would rather find out that if aliens show up, that they have a very similar religion to like Christianity. I would really, that would be pretty solid confirmation that this stuff's universal, that it's not just isolated. And who knows with the infinite power of a creator, what they're capable of in interacting with the lifetimes of any creature in the universe. So now that's neither here nor there, because at the end of the day, I've really come around to the conclusion. I think space is overwhelmingly empty. I'm very, very dubious of the idea of there being any kind of life outside of our world at this point. I don't know what space is anymore. I think that when you have power structures, and these power structures are the only ones with limited access to these places like outer space or Antarctica, these kind of locations that are very, very remote, where it requires enormous capital to invest in traveling to these locations and undertaking any kind of research. And if there's no profit in it, especially because the kind of systems we live under, if there's no profit in it, there's really no impetus to do it. So I'm dubious of these structures who generally do not tell the truth about anything, providing accurate information on the nature of outer space or the truth about places like Antarctica. So, you can just take that for what it is. I mean, I'm a skeptic when it comes to a lot of things, even more so in the last 5 years. I thought I was really bananas before 2020 when it came to this kind of stuff that I'm into. And like, honest to God, most of it's the fun stuff for me. I grew up in the era where there was a lot of that, Kennedy assassination stuff, and the Bermuda Triangle was still a hot topic. So like, there's definitely been a big shift in the niche over the years. But I got to say, I've never really cared much for the real minutia of the political stuff personally, unless it relates back to the really weird, high strangeness that I'm so deeply interested in. So, yeah, I mean, of course, any declassified UFO documents that actually move the needle. And that's kind of why I complain a lot about the sudden movement for UAP disclosure and these hearings and stuff. I just don't feel like it ever moves the needle. Nobody cares. I swear they could tell you there's a UFO over New York City right now, and nobody would give a golly god darn it. It just wouldn't be a thing. Nobody would care. Nobody would care. People are really, really disconnected. It's just a shame. But I digress. Let's see what you guys are in the chat saying. Let me pop on the old reading glasses so I can actually see what's going on. Oh, there's another super chat from Deazad. Thank you so much, Deazad. Valiant Thor does not like the tush push. Yeah, that's some Philadelphia Eagles stuff right there for you, the old tush push. But you probably all know that by now. Yeah, Valiant Thor probably wouldn't be. He would probably be a real stickler for the rules. But Valiant Thor was he was around the time of leather helmets, I believe. I mean, I'm pretty sure. Were they still playing with leather helmets in the 60s? Is there anybody old enough to remember if they were playing with leather helmets in the 1960s? If we could get that information, I thank you. Thank you. So somebody fill me in. Somebody fill me in on that one. Leather helmets. I would love to have a leather helmet. Like even a facsimile. It doesn't even need to be real leather either. It could be like that fake stuff. It could be like, I mean, look, if I'm looking at somewhere around 15, 25, maybe even $30 for a faux leather helmet. My buddy used to have one of those way back in the day, back when McNabb was the quarterback for the Eagles. So we're talking like the early 2000s. But yeah, it looked great. That was a real deal. I'd wear that sucker all the time. You'd think something was wrong with me. You'd think I had a problem. You thought the swim cap look was bad when I had that tight hat on that one night? Well, I'll tell you what, leather helmet, dude, I'll be looking like I'm ready to be like a shot out of a cannon or something. All right. Whew. Yeah, Guru Ogi. That would be pretty epic if Christianity was a universal thing. Well, I do believe it's universal. I believe the universe is a monarchy. I believe Christ is the head of that monarchy. One moment, please. I gotta clear my throat. Oh, thanks for your patience. Tina filled us in with this leather helmet question. Looks like it was 49. NFL used leather helmets to 49. Then switch to plastic. There we go. Leather helmets all around, everybody. The leather helmet crew. The Goonie Tunes. Okay. All right, we're going to roll into the next topic here. Now, this one's always been kind of interesting to me because I do enjoy like lost lands and legendary places. I thought I heard something beeping in the other room. I don't know. Yeah, lost lands, legendary places. I'm a big fan of Atlantis, Lemuria, High Brazil, Hyperborea. These kind of places that inspire imagination, mystery. So that's good stuff. That's good stuff, in my opinion. All right, so moving on to our next topic. It's a Rom of the Pillars, a Quranic mirage, or a buried empire. So I want you to feel the scorching Arabian wind whipping sand across your face as you crest a dune, the horizon shimmering with heat, revealing ruins etched like veins in the earth. Aram of the Pillars, the fabled city of the odd people from the Quran. It lies exposed, towers of stone defying the desert's erasure. Was this a hubristic metropolis punished by divine fury, or a mirage woven from ancient myths? Let's tread those forgotten streets and unearth the truth. You're a nomad in pre-Islamic Arabia. Tales of Aram whispered around campfires, a city of towering pillars, gardens defying the sands, built by the mighty Ad, who grew arrogant against Allah. The Quran's Surah Al-Farj condemns them for rejecting prophets, unleashing a storm of ruin that buried their spires in one cataclysmic night. Your camel shifts uneasily as you hear of their silk-draped halls, now ghosts under the dunes. Drawing nearer the legend's core, explorers like Bertram Thomas in the 1930s sketched maps of Ubar, a trade hub of frankincense roots, its 8-towered fortress matching Aram's description. NASA radar okay, where was I? The 1990s. In the 1990s, NASA radar, it pierced the sands, revealing collapsed wells and walls, facts aligning with the holy text fury. Now, I want you to imagine bartering in Aram's bustling markets, the air heavy with myrrh and gold, pillars carved like giants holding up the sky. The Ad, descendants of Noah, harnessed monsoons for lush oasis. Their engineers, rivals to legends. But hubris swelled, idols over faith, wealth over warning, until the winds howled. A cold, violent gale from the Quran, shattering their pride. Yet the facts ground the drama. Ebla tablets from 2500 BC name Aram as a real place, a caravan stop linking Yemen to Oman. Bedouin lore speaks of jinn guarding its gold, but satellite images show no treasure, just eroded stone whispering of commerce fall. You're with archaeologist Juris Zarins in the 1990s. Shovels biting into the Rub al-Khali, unearthing pottery and altars that scream of lost civilization. The city's 8 gates, iron reinforced, guarded frankincense paths worth fortunes until a sinkhole or storm claimed it. Facts pierced from carbon-dated shards. No bodies, no inscriptions, just the void where screams once echoed, transitioning to the spiritual layer. Islamic scholars see Aram as parable and proof. Its pillars symbolize fleeting power. Skeptics counter with geology, flash floods reshaping dunes, not divine wrath. You stand amid the ruins, the wind carrying faint echoes, judgment or accident. Fast forward to modern digs, where drones map the site's 30-acre sprawl, revealing aqueducts that fed a population of thousands. The Quran details lofty buildings buried in a day. They mirror these finds, inspiring books and documentaries that blend faith with fieldwork. Bedouins still avoid the area, claiming cursed sands that swallow the unweary. But the allure deepens. Was Aram's fall a meteor strike, as some geologists propose, or the hands of fate? Its story fuels quests for other lost cities, a thread in humanity's tapestry of ambition and oblivion. Now, as the sun dips, You trace a pillar's shadow, feeling the odds defiance. Why no looted gold? No survivor tales? Could radar miss deeper chambers, holding scrolls of their sins? And in our world of towering egos, does Aram warn of storms yet to come? The abyss holds its breath, waiting for your answers. Aram of the Pillars. Very interesting stuff, folks. This idea of these lost cities in the swirling sands of the desert, it's just a fascinating idea, you know? I often think of some fantasy novels. Tor, I used to read books by Tor over the years, and one in particular was the Robert Jordan work. And I distinctly, when I think of Aram, I think of this passage in a book where they come across this derelict city, and it's so strange to consider that there's nothing left. Like the city's just vacant. There's no remains. No evidence the people were there, as if they were all just consumed by the sands. It's very, very strange stuff. Reminds me of Roanoke in a way, the lost colony. But I think they recently had some information about that they were absorbed into native populations. Mr. MH, Dark Sayings. Here's a strange link, but apparently Valiant Thor may be linked to Indrid Cold, the smiling man, and Indrid Cold linked to two other entities, Demo Hassan and Carl Ardo. Now, we recently talked about Indrid Cold right here on the Midnight Mystery live stream program. And the Woodrow Derenberger's encounter with him, and that whole incident right around the Mothman times in West Virginia, and John Keel's work with the prophecies, and then the Man in Black. This is all it's a perfect storm in this place and time. And I do feel that the era of the contactees, in my opinion, is very infinitely interesting. When you talk about people like Adamski and Truman Bethram, these guys were weaving incredible tales, and I find them a lot more. They're more fanciful. They're definitely more fanciful. They definitely have a more, I guess, a positive space brother kind of vibe to them as compared to the Fire in the Sky, Travis Walton stuff that would come later on, the Whitley Strieber Communion stuff. We definitely see a shift from the era of the contactee to the era of the abductee. And people's experiences with these beings definitely change. So I'm not sure, because when you get into the minutia of religious beliefs and these entities, whatever they may be, extraterrestrial, ultra-terrestrial, spiritual entities, they could be a lot of things. I often wonder what exactly we're dealing with. And, it really fills the mind with wonder. Deazad mentioned Project Bluebeam. I used to be a lot more tuned into the Bluebeam stuff, to be honest. I thought it was a possibility, but at this point, I don't think you could do it to scale. I don't necessarily think you would have to. I've always maintained that to successfully pull off a Bluebeam type event, you just have to do it over maybe one major city on each continent, legitimately, maybe even 5-10 major cities around the world, one UFO over each of them, silently sitting there, undeniable. You turn your media apparatus on and have them really hype up the fear, and that's it. Even then, I'm sure each one of these UFOs could facilitate broadcasting elf frequencies, so you could make people believe they were hearing the voice of God. You could definitely, at this point, we all know there's some pretty impressive drone shows out there. You can go to a baseball game and see some pretty impressive drone work. But because of that, I think that Bluebeam will be very hard to pull off. Who is going to buy that this drone swarm making pictures in the sky is some kind of spiritual event, unless there's some technology that we're not generally collectively unaware of that could facilitate large-scale, believable holograms? But what are you projecting them against? Just the night sky? Does it got to be cloudy for them to work? How does one go about the science of that? Is often what I wonder. So while Bluebeam could, in theory, be a very valuable tool for... Did my mouse just die? Let me see something here. I think my mouse batteries just died. Oh, well, that's unfortunate. Oh, fiddly-dee. That's kind of a problem. It's a bit of an issue. Wait a minute. I got two sitting here. Surely I wouldn't be foolish enough to hang on to an additional pair of dead batteries. That would be a real dummy thing to do. We're not going to be that guy, though, right? We're not just saving dead batteries on our desk for no golly goddamn good reason. Swinging for the fences this weekend, folks. Swinging for the fences. Let's see. We got any juice in that one? There we go. Something just happened. All right. Well, it's working now. Okay. Let's get back in the chat here real quick. Didn't they find Sumerian or Babylonian deity under the sands? I could be wrong. Now, Guru Augie, I think you are referring to some of the stuff. There was like quasi-truthful things that came out of the Podesta email leaks years ago. Something about the resurrection chamber of Gilgamesh. And then I know there's like video floating around where they found Gilgamesh's tomb. I don't think any of that's real. I just don't. I don't really believe in any of it. I think that like that would be much bigger news. You'd probably have more footage of it than we already do. We're not even sure what they're talking about. I mean, what kind of code words they're using could probably be something way more sinister than, you know, the bones of some old figure from the world's oldest narrative. So, but then again, they said that Gilgamesh was, like 3 parts God, 1 part man, or something like that. So, what was his genetic makeup? Well, who knows? Who knows what that's all going about? All right, let's roll into the next topic. Let's roll right in. Okay. We're doing the Shaver Mysteries next. The Shaver Mysteries, Subterranean Terrors, or a Fractured Mind. Descend with me into clanging factory depths where welding sparks fly and a man's sanity frays. He's hearing voices from the Earth's core. The Shaver Mysteries, spawned by Richard Sharp Shaver in the 1940s, unveil a hollow world of sadistic Darrows lurking below, where these degenerate overlords, real or visions from a tormented soul. Let's tunnel into the darkness and confront the rays. And that'll make sense in a second. So you're Richard Shaver. You're an arc welder at this Detroit plant. When a malfunction floods your mind with screams, torture chambers beneath the floor, victims writhing under invisible beams. Darrows, he names them, detrimental robots, twisted humans devolved in cavernous lairs, wielding Teluga. These are rays that beam madness worldwide. Your hands shake on the torch, the air buzzing with their hate. Pressing on through the haze, Shaver flees to the caves, claiming capture by these fiends who feed on fear, their tech stolen from ancient Atlanteans. Editor Ray Palmer publishes these letters from Shaver in Amazing Stories magazine. And circulation explodes as readers report similar rays causing migraines and despair. Now, I want you to visualize these sprawling underground cities. Miles below, where these Darrows, they're pale, goblin-like creatures, they pilot these ray guns, warping thoughts and inciting wars on the ground above. There are also these Terros down there. They're the noble alien creatures. The Terros, rather. They're noble aliens. And they fight back with interrogative energies. They're guardians of lost harmony. So Shaver's tales detail these mech suits and death traps, all drawn from his visions. Now, apparently, there's an 8-year span of time where Shaver could not be accounted for, and this was when he was being cared for mental illness. Maybe not totally consensual, maybe a little bit against his will. But the narrative grips tighter. Ray Palmer sensationalizes like these letters, blending Shaver's ramblings with sci-fi flair, inspiring fan letters of underground sightings. Circulation hits 185,000. His story's a mirror to post-war paranoia. Ray's blamed for everything from crimes to cosmic ills. So you're a reader in the 40s. Your pulse is racing as Shaver describes Darrow's beaming lust or rage into minds, their caverns lit by radium glow, echoing with slave cries. He escaped, and he welds again, but the voices persist. Facts of his schizophrenia diagnosis later surfacing, framing the mysteries as displaced torment externalized. Yet believers rally. Seismic anomalies hint at hollow realms, and Shaver's influence seeps into UFO lore. Darrow's morphed into reptilians. Palmer's edits blur truth and tale, a controversy that cements the saga's hold. So step into the pulp archives, where Shaver's saga spawns comics and clubs, fans mapping Darrow rays from migraines. It faded with Palmer's shift to flying saucers, but revives in fringe presses. Shaver dying in obscurity, his warnings etched in yellowed pages. Online echoes persist, linking Darrow's to modern mind control fears. The drama ensues. Was it all delusion or glimpses of forbidden depths? Shaver's fractured mind birthed a myth that still tunnels through our imaginations. Now, back in that factory, that welder's torch is long hissed out. But why did thousands buy the tale, reporting ray sickness? Could ancient myths of underworld holds retain a kernel of fact? And if the Darrows lurk below, what rays are beaming into our modern world today? The abyss rumbles, demanding you listen. The Darrows and the Tarrows. The whole Ray Shaver stuff is amazing to me. I find it really, it's almost, I'd say unfortunate that this large saga that was, I mean, the letter that Shaver sent to Palmer was like 10,000 words, dude. He sent him like a 10,000 word like letter about all this stuff. And he just kept pumping out these letters. And I think that, Shaver, Shaver, he was mentally ill, obviously, but Palmer, he was really good at spinning a yarn. And I mean, these stories were a huge hit. They were selling tons of newspapers or magazines, rather, pulp magazines. And, that's really rad that such a story could take off like that. But however, I think it's a real missed opportunity. Nothing has been done with this source material now for decades. Like, why are we not seeing like crazy Shaver mysteries? Like, I mean, the Shaver mystery should be a thing. It really should. I don't know. I got an idea. I got to write it down. I'll be back later. Don't worry. I'll let you know. We'll see. We'll see. The Shaver mysteries. The first one is called I Remember Lemuria. Yeah, so you can find a lot of these online still. Pardon me, the cough medicine got me a little drowsy. I'm not falling asleep or anything, but yeah, it's definitely going on here. Yeah, Mr. MH, the whole human mutilation aspect of the alien abduction phenomenon is something that can be linked to the activities of the Darrows. And, that's a good point. That's a good point. Definitely a good point. I believe in lost cities, especially in the sands. I think about all the structures in tablets, cities you can find under the sands. Yeah, you're right. You're right, Guru. You're right. Okay. Where we at time was. We only got 2 more topics to go. So let's get on them. We'll get them done. Then we'll do a little Q&A. Then we'll be out for the night. I do appreciate you being here, especially because I've been under the weather. And like I said, if you are so inclined, we're going to do a little hangout in the voice chat after the show on the Discord. So yeah, hope to see you there. Not too many people showed up last week. So hopefully if you got the time, you can hang out. Okay. Whew. All right. All right. All right. The Montauk Project, Time Rifts, or Shadowed Experiments. I want you to hear the thunderous hum of radar towers on Long Island's edge, where boys vanish into fog-shrouded labs, emerging with eyes haunted by futures unseen. The Montauk Project, alleged in the 1980s, twisted time and minds at Camp Hero. Was this a gateway to dimensions or echoes of Cold War madness? Let's breach the fences and feel the chairs pull. So, you're a runaway in the 1970s in Montauk, lured by rumors of cash for tests, only to wake strapped to the Montauk chair, a psychic amplifier pulsing with electromagnetic fury. Preston Nichols was a radar engineer turned whistleblower, and he claims the project warped boys into dimensional portals, facts tied to declassified MK Ultra files on mind control. The air crackles as thoughts manifest monsters from the rift, venturing further into the night. Al Bielek recounts teleporting to the year 2137, a dystopia of overpopulation. His body swapped in a Philadelphia experiment link. The base's radar dome looms, a relic of World War II turned coronal weapon. So now you're strapped in. You sense the chair's coils igniting synapses, broadcasting commands to summon storms or beasts from the void. Nichols would detail radionic devices, bending reality, and runaway kids brainwashed to be assassins. The facts ground the frenzy. Camp Hero's isolation hid CIA-funded psyops. Boys were abducted for endurance trials, but the rifts tear wider. Bielek's tale of time loops, where August 12, 1983 implodes the project in a sphere of light. Witnesses describe floating orbs and military cleanup erasing any trace. So now you're interviewing Duncan Cameron, psychic in the chair, manifesting objects from the ether. Now, he did some regressions, and facts from that regression during these interdimensional jaunts are pretty interesting. The project allegedly contacted aliens, traded tech for silence, but ethics crumbled in screams. Skeptics point to Nichols' engineering resume, yet no documents confirm the extremes. Transitioning to the fallout, the base was decommissioned in 1981. Tours now reveal bunkers, but shadows linger. The Netflix drama Stranger Things draws from these yarns, amplifying the dread. Now, I want you to explore abandoned tunnels, Geiger counters ticking from radium leaks, fans compiling Montauk files or declassified snippets. Books like the Montauk Project Experiments in Time serialize the saga, blending testimony with speculation. It inspires art from novels to films, a cultural scar from secrecy's blade. The hold persists. Was it all confabulation of trauma or proof of gates we dare not open? Now the chair's hum fades, but echoes remain. Why the synchronized 1983 shutdown across sites? Could rifts explain modern glitches in time? And if Montauk tore the veil, what leaks through now? The abyss hums back, patient and vast. Good stuff. Mr. HH, Mr. MH, the Montauk Project monster that was found washed ashore is an example of those beasts from beyond. However, it theorized it could have been a raccoon that had partially decomposed. Now I know you're talking about the Montauk monster there, but there was an actual monster at the Montauk Project. They called him Junior. At one point, at the end of it all, I forget if it was Nichols or Bielek, one of them gets in the chair and fires it up and conjures up a Bigfoot, like a 12-foot tall Bigfoot, who goes on a rampage through the whole place, and they were unable to stop him. Like, he was just taking bites out of buildings, like it was rough stuff. So there is that kind of connection to it. And I've seen a photograph that claims to be an image of Junior around the Montauk Towers, but I don't think the thing is still there. And even the photographs seem to imply that this was not a corporeal creature, that it was in some way an etheric being. So, I mean, we do have that going on, We definitely have that going on. One moment, please. I'll be right back. Just do this real quick. Okay. I have returned. I just, you know what? It was a little too chilly in here, a little too cold for the way I'm feeling right now. So I had to adjust a little temperature action. And that's what I was working on. Hey, we got another super chat coming in here from It's Courtney's Fellowship of Oddballs for $1.99. Thank you very much, Courtney. Much appreciation. Happy Sunday, everyone. Much love. Thank you very much. Much appreciation. Thank you. Very kind of you. Edward Stone. Namaste, fams. I fight sleep. I will fight till sleep. Well, there we go. I've been having some sleeping issues myself there, Edward. Personally, I've got the apnea and insomnia, which one came after the other. And this all goes back to my pneumonia story earlier at the top of the show, rather. After my pneumonia thing, I started to have the apnea thing where I kept like waking up with this like fight or flight response. Like I was gasping for breath. Like it was really crazy. So I did a sleep study and they were like, yo, dude, you got apnea. I was like, oh no, right? So then like I got to the point now where I sleep. I can't sleep more than an hour and 45 minutes at a time. So like it's never like more than that. So I wake up over and over again. It's very frustrating. It's been going on for like quite a long time. I was supposed to go back to the sleep doctor again soon though, so we'll see what happens with that. Probably nothing. Probably much of nothing. So we'll see. Anyway, just me moaning about my ailments today. I sound like you, Tina, with all the ailments. Jumping Jehoshaphat. All right. Okay, so we got the last story here. The topic number 5, Nahanni, the Headless Valley. I'm sorry. I apologize, folks. I'm not 100%, but I don't want to leave you without a stream this week. All right, Nahanni, the Headless Valley. Is this Cursed Wilds or Frontier Folly? So I want you to taste like the crisp, bright air of the north as you ford the Nahanni River up there on the Continental Divide, Yukon Territory, Canada. Mists choke the cliffs where headless skeletons grin from gravel bars. Nahanni Valley, dubbed the Headless Valley, has claimed prospectors since 1908. Bodies found sand skulls in this Canadian abyss. Was it vengeful spirits or the land's unforgiving bite? Let's trek the frozen trails and hear the silence scream. So you're a McLeod brother in 1908, axes biting birch for a cabin, dreams of nuggets fueling your swing. Until winter claims you, your headless form found miles away, rifle clutched like a futile ward. The valley's lure ignites. Matisse trappers, Willie and Frank, 1904, discovered decapitated, sparking whispers of Nahanni's guardians, cursing intruders. Pushing upstream, the Dene people tales warn of owl monsters and hot springs boiling flesh. Facts woven from oral histories. Over 44 vanish or die unexplained. The rivers roar, drowning cries. Now imagine staking claims in 1905. The gold rush, luring fools to Rabbit Kettle Hot Springs, where geothermal myths veiled disappearances. A miner's headless corpse in 1945, clothes neatly folded. Sorry, I'm having an issue. Give me a sec. Okay. All right. Thank you. Thank you. All right. So where I leave off, there was this miner in 1945. They found his headless corpse, but his clothes were neatly folded nearby, which defies the idea of any animal scavengers. And this comes from the Royal Canadian Mounted Police's official logs, painting a methodical killer. But the wilds conspire, avalanches shear heads, bears scatter remains, but patterns persist. Skulls upstream from bodies, as if carried by intent. The valley's remoteness, 300 miles from roads, 300 miles from roads, amplifies isolation's terror. Now, you're a pilot in 1931. You're spotting McLeod's Folly, a cabin riddled with bullets, no occupants. Facts fueling tales of feuds or phantoms. Danae lore speaks of mountain giants, their axes felling the arrogant. White trappers echo with headless men roaming fog. Skeptics cite hypothermia as tricks. Wanderers stripping in delirium. But the headless tally, 6 confirmed, defies odds. Parks Canada guards the UNESCO site. Tours skirting the graves. Check Modern Trails now, where Virginia Rafferty's 1940 headless find near her prospector husband's old claim chills guides. Books chronicle the valley's pull, blending native warnings with explorer journals. It draws adventurers. The hot springs steam a siren call amid peaks named Headless Range. The saga endures, a microcosm of frontier hubris, where nature or something older claims its due. The river rushes on, skulls imagined in every eddy. Why the neat clothes, though? The upstream heads? Could Danae's curse linger, or is it just the wind's math? And in our mapped world, does Nahanni remind us some veils stay drawn? The abyss flows silent, eternal. All right, so there you have it, everybody. We've plumbed the abyss, tonight's depths for 5 unrelenting tales, rather. The Venusian warnings to Valley Ghosts. Now, let's go into the live chat for the next few minutes. I'll answer some questions, and we'll ponder the technology of Thor, or the haunted houses here, or the Nahanni Valley, whatever you want to get into. That's what we'll do. Okay. So, yeah, let's get into the chat here, and then we'll wrap it up. We'll do it up. Okay, where are we at? If natives stay out, then stay out, right? Yeah, right, Maurice? Yeah, just when in Rome, man, do as the Romans. When in Rome, especially when it comes to monsters and stuff like that. Happy belated birthday again, Pete. Thank you, Tina. Thank you very much. Appreciate that. Yeah, it's time for me to get a little healthier. It's time for me to turn it around. I remember being here. I was sitting here 2 years ago around my birthday. I said the same thing, that I was going to turn it around. And here I am 2 years later. I ain't turned much around with the beat these days. I love to hear percussion. So, regardless. Yeah, so that's where we're at. I won't keep you guys much longer. We'll see. We'll see what's what. All right, any questions coming in here? Any comments we should address before the end here? Anybody interested in anything? Any final thoughts? Final thoughts there. All right. Okay. Yeah. Okay. All righty. Well, check it out. I'm going to go hit the hay for a little bit because I'm beat and I got to go to the DMV in the morning. So, listen, I don't see too many questions coming in. So I'm feeling confident to move on. I want to thank you all for being here tonight. I do appreciate you tuning in. I want to say thank you to our special I want to say thank you to the super chat super chat donations from Maurice Spank Gaming. Quite generous, Maurice. Thank you very much. The Deus Zod, as well as its Courtney Fellowship of Oddballs. Thank you very much. I'm humbled. Thank you. Have a wonderful evening. Thank you in that regard. And so, yeah, with that said, there you have it. We plunge the abyss's depths through 5 unrelenting gates, from Venusian Mornings to Valley Ghosts. Now, turn to the live chat. Let's get to it a little bit. We'll answer a few questions, just a few. We'll ponder Thor's tech, maybe, or haunted by Nahani's heads. Just speak up and let me know what you think. Step into the darkness, right? So let's see. Let's see what you got to say. All right. Well, thank you for joining Dark Sayings Live. This was a makeup show for Midnight Mystery Sessions. It was supposed to be on yesterday, but like I said, under the weather. If you missed the whole spiel, it was at the front. You don't need to hear it. Anywho, thank you for joining Live Sayings. Thank you for joining Dark Sayings Live Midnight Mystery Sessions. There is a link to the Discord if you want to hang out there for a little bit after the stream. I'll see you there. Thank you all so very much for tuning in. Thanks to Tina Tomazuski, our live chat moderator. I do appreciate all the birthday wishes. So anyway, I'm Pete. This has been Dark Sayings. And until next time, I'll see you in the shadows.